Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shenanigans. How are you guys doing today?
Right.
Good.
I'm in New Hampshire.
Oh, what?
Oh.
What? Why are you in New Hampshire?
I'm working. I'm doing a job here. You can see here I am in some kind of cyber tech multi screen control room.
I see that.
I'm hacking the core.
Are you helping to rebuild Skynet after it was destroyed in the War of 1812?
Yes, that's being out here in Baltimore as opposed to California. The history is all around in a way that just is not in California. Like the airport that I flew into, Manchester, just a tiny little airport, the genuine colonial era airport, and they even had like in the main building, the center, they had these old colonial era aircraft. Well, I mean, I guess I don't know for sure that they're all colonial era because I think there was one.
There might be reproductions.
I think it was definitely built before the Constitution because you could see in this passenger compartment, there was one place where they had refit the seats to only hold 3/5 of a person.
I was wondering if that's where you were going to go, Rob. I was going to wonder. Yep.
The ground is shaking here.
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah,
you
it's done that twice.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just like chilling a little out of it, and then the ground started shaking. It was just fine. So
You guys have been getting a whole bunch of things down there.
yeah.
I had a friend who was in Northern California who was posting about like all the texts he was getting from people all over the country. And he's like, okay, you got to understand the difference between where I am and where the quakes were. Like the difference between Atlanta, Georgia, and New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, as far as I understand it, it's like pretty mild earthquakes, right? No injuries, fatalities, minimal damage.
No,
Well,
it's really loud.
I texted my friend, to find out how it affected her. And she said that she had to stop gaming with the first one for like almost 5 seconds. So
What?
I think that's going to be one of those moments that sticks with everybody.
It's that emotional damage that carries you through the years, right?
Yeah, like
Is this the big
decades
one?
from now, she'll just be able to say, hey, where were you when we had to stop gaming for 5 seconds? And everyone will have those memories of where they were at that moment.
I was in Molten Core. We were, DPSing him down, and then I had to take my hand off the mouse because the whole room was shaking, and old Raid died.
Weirdly enough, the earthquake did increase my clicks per second.
APM went way through the roof, but it was not useful APM. It was spam, and everyone died. Well, without further ado, why don't we hop on into game? We're going to step on into Shenanigans here. We're going to try and scroll up and find ourselves here. Grimelda, most of these people aren't here today. Let's start kicking out players from the party while you guys tell me what's going on here in Shenanigans today.
You won't believe it. There was just a Koibu here yesterday saying they killed the rock. The rock on the mountain. Can you believe that? What a tall story. They didn't get it done, I'm sure.
Wasn't
I refuse to believe that the rock has been ended.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see a body. Did you see a body?
I was a part of that.
Biceps
I
like
got the-
that are
I
not
got
so
the
easily
elephant named
played.
from that.
Wait. You're the one who stole the elephant. Aren't you a wanted person then?
No.
Because there was a news report,
We're gonna
right?
sit at another table now. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's an injured guy, so I think his whole family died from it, honestly. Yeah, it's a tragic story, yeah. And he was just in denial.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the bar today. It is over capacity.
Oh boy.
It is 100. No, I'm sorry. It's empty. A roll of 11 is empty. 12 is over capacity. It's empty. It's just the three of you in here, and there's no music. It's literally just the three of you and Desmond standing behind the bar.
Well,
Clearly, the loss of comically sized egg omelets has hurt Desmond's business.
I don't think he ever got any rock eggs, did he? But they've been in the nest now, right?
It seems unlikely. I believe he sent people off to acquire them at least 3 times.
Buck will
Or 2
return
times.
to the table. He'll sit down. Nobody's here.
Nobody's there? You join them at the table?
Nobody's here in the bar, guys.
Perhaps they know something we don't.
I saw a bunch of archers getting hired out for a job earlier in the week. They went all out to the west. Don't know how many survived.
Desmond's sitting over by the table sipping some cold beverages and looks at the three of you guys and he says, "So, you have any good stories to tell me?"
I don't know. With these crossovers, I can't tell if they're canon or not.
Well, the last 2 were mentioned last episode.
You know, I think after the aircraft carrier sank, all cannons were lost at sea, and there's no more cannons.
Yeah.
It's a real tragedy.
That gnomish building, you can't trust them to build aircraft carriers.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Bridge. You
So,
got a story.
Yeah, Umbridge, have you ever rammed a rampart?
No.
Damn
That is
it.
traditionally what is done with a rampart.
Well, you climb and walk on top of them.
They were first built by the Scottish to keep out male sheep.
Ah. It's just, what are Scottish?
It's a bunch of guys. They're all named Scott. They got a house together out on the other side of town.
All right.
Yeah,
Married
they're
a woman
really
named
big with the
Tricia.
sheep.
Their celebrity name is Scottish.
Because it's, you know, a bunch of Scots, but they're not all exactly Scots. Some of them are SCOT, some are SCOTT, some are SCOTTE, you know? So, like, Scott-ish for the group. What about you, Buck? You got a good story to tell me?
I've just been, studying in Wogarts.
Ignore him. Pass the buck.
Okay.
All right. Here's a Thule. You got a good story? Let's hear it.
I don't. Well, I do, but patient confidentiality. But I would say invest heavily in brimstone futures in the 9 hells. Just didn't get it from me though.
Unfortunately, my broker did some good things and got kicked out of the 9 hells. I know. That's
I find
unheard
it
of.
hard to believe that anyone in finance is anywhere but in the 9 hells.
He had like a brain aneurysm, totally switched his personality around, divested all of his investments from private prisons, which are, the 9 hells, private prisons. Went 180, started investing in like children's leukemia research. It was ridiculous. Got kicked out of the 9 hells.
Well, at least it wasn't into children's prisons. I mean, I'm from the 9 hells, but the child concentration camps, that's some fucked up shit.
Yeah, tell me about it. But I'm looking for a good story here, guys. Okay, hey, Minotaur, you've seen a lot. Tell me a good story.
These two minotaurs locked in Onagil. One used magic. I cut off his horns, exile him. No longer welcome. That was a good day.
Oh, I know a Minotaur story. The Minotaur walks into a bar. The bar says, ouch.
That's a good one. I actually haven't heard that one before. I liked it.
Yes, it's very original. I came up with it. No one's ever said that before.
I would believe you if you didn't say something like that. I would have believed you the whole way through. So no one else has got any interesting stories? Here I was hoping I could rely on you to tell me stories today.
As Desmond is.
Well, you have a wild story, Desmond.
Got a lot of good stories. What do you want to hear?
How about you killing the Black Dragon?
Well, deep wood swamp, circa 15, 18 years ago. There's the dragon, up to its ankles in brackish water. Now, when I say up to its ankles, that's up to my neck, you know. So there it is, standing in the water, staring me down. I got Borscht on one side of me, I got Lizzie on the other side of me, and we have that silent communication, you know. I give Lizzie the nod.
Everyone has in a sandwich.
Right. And I give Lizzie the nod, which means, you know, get some cover, get around to the side of the creature, don't let it see you. I give Borscht the other nod, which he knows, well, actually, he interprets all signals this way, so we just call it the other nod, but really it's any look. Which he interprets as make a bunch of noise and attract all the attention of all the monsters. It's what he's really good at. So he runs in on the left flank, starts like waving around, hacking at the dragon, but you know, Borscht, he's also up to his neck in the water, so he's easy pickings. And my wife goes around the other side, starts hitting the dragon in the back of the neck with the arrows. Dragon's a little confused. It can't reach the back of its neck to protect it from the arrows, and that's when I spring into action. I use my ring of leaping, and I hop across the ocean, the what do you call it, the frickin' swamp, land on the dragon's back, and start fighting its wings, hacking it bits by bit. Borscht finds a really deep spot in the swamp and actually ends up underneath the dragon. Dragon tries to breed acid on him, but you know, the acid just hits the water and then it's gone. Well, at least that's what I thought. Did you know that acid is part water? I didn't know that. The whole water turns slightly acidic and Borscht starts getting cooked alive. Meanwhile, Lizzie's, you know, empties her entire quiver at the creature, runs out of arrows, has to pull out a spear and charge the dragon, sticking the spear all the way down its tail, you know, like shish kebabbing the black dragon. Meanwhile, I'm hacked off the left wing. Borscht is dying. The dragon pulls Borscht out of the water to bite his head off, and that's when Borscht sticks his battle axe in the dragon's mouth, holding it open, you know, like a crocodile's mouth. That was tough. Yeah, I ended up crawling inside the dragon's mouth and stabbing his face out from the inside, because it was the easiest way to get through those tough scales. And then Lizzie's shish kebab through the tail, ended up like running it into a tree, so the dragon's tail was pinned to the tree, so it couldn't escape as easily. It was a mess. Borscht almost died. Thank God for magical healing. No acid scars either. It's amazing.
As mighty as those deeds are, I think they pale in comparison to the strength you show in not feeling any insecurity at all that your best friend, Borscht, muscle-bound and mighty as he is, with rippling muscles and quite a way around a kitchen, cooking, can fashion a great meal, and that has such intuitive, just with a look, communication with your wife. And this whole workplace thing is, we all know how things happen there in the workplace when people are working together, and the work husband and work wife, and yet you're completely secure, and you don't worry at all about that. That's a real man to me.
Thank you. It's taken me a long time to become a real man, and you're right. I had to get over some of those insecurities. Lizzie's I have had to fight off a lot of suitors that wanted Lizzie to pick them before I came along. So we had to battle through all that nonsense a long time ago. And ever since I stole her heart, it's been easy going.
Yeah, it doesn't even bother you that Borscht has that barbaric magnetism of just a man who sees and does.
Why do you think I'm attracted to Borscht?
Women aren't attracted to that kind of fierce.
You're attracted to Borscht?
Of course I am.
So I wasn't off about the sandwich thing. Anyway, so if we were trying to think of a story, and it seems to me that a lot of the best stories, what is the current year right now?
1511.
1511. It seems to me like
maybe.
a lot of
My
the
math is
best
bad.
stories came from the 1480s. And it seems to me that, I mean, some of them are, they're pretty action packed. Others are very strange. In fact, I think the one I would even call kind of weird, because instead of being about magic, it was about science, some sort of weird science.
What a ridiculous field of study.
I can't think of any stories. I don't even remember that one entirely.
Yeah. Yeah.
A weird story.
Yep.
Did you just talk about the 80s and a weird story, and then you didn't tell us the weird story?
The 1480s, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just Desmond was asking us to come up with stories, and
well, the
I didn't
1480s
have any
were
off the
weird.
top of my head, but the 1480s are always a great source of stories.
The weirdest thing about the 1480s is that hairstyles went from being like slick and smooth and what's the word? Not slanky, sleeky, slick and lanky combined to be swanky. I don't know. Look, they went from being like slicked back to all poofy and big. It was this weird thing, just like 1480 to 1489, and after maybe like 1491, 1492, it all just disappeared. My God, a weird time.
Like this, and Urzathul removes his helmet. His hair is all puffed out. The humidity at the border of the frozen layer of hell and the really hot layer of hell, it just always messes with my hair. In fact, it got really bad on the side, so I just had to just shave off the sides, and now it's just all long in the back.
Long in the back, short in the front?
Like yeah.
Yep. 1480s. What a time. What a time. So, Buck, you haven't told us any good stories yet.
I wasn't even alive in the 1480s.
Well, tell us a story about whenever you were alive.
Were you involved in the incident with he who can't be named?
Yeah. The other day, I was sitting in class, and our teacher came in, and he canceled class, and he had like a bloody dagger in his hand. And then
whoa.
Yeah. So everybody's kind of been talking about that. He hasn't been showing up to class. That's been interesting.
Wait. Did you say one of your teachers showed up to school with a bloody dagger?
Showed up to class, like came into the room, quickly hid the bloody dagger in the drawer.
And?
That's really fucked up, man. I mean, back when I was going to school in the 1480s, like the teacher would come in and she'd be wearing like a very prim and proper, completely concealing, suit. And then suddenly she would like tear it off and she'd be in a bikini. And then like Van Halen would be playing. And it was amazing, man.
I somehow doubt that. That doesn't sound right. That's not.
There's documentary evidence of that.
Really? Well, hold on. Let's go back to this Buck thing. So what happened? The teacher brings in a dagger. It's a bloody dagger. And then?
Nothing happened. What
do you mean nothing happened?
3 days ago. We talked about it at lunch.
Well, what did they say it was for?
He canceled class.
You just canceled.
He kicked us out of the room.
Are you saying I am paying premium rates to that school for my daughter, and they're just canceling class willy-nilly?
And they're potentially murderers.
Well, that's to be expected, right? Like, you got to get the best teachers, even if they're potential murderers. That's kind of fine. But canceling class?
Wizards are bad. Wizards are naughty. They're not soldiers of the light. Lockhart is kind of like a we teach people magic here. Mostly we do Illuminati stuff.
Yeah. That's acceptable. Just want to make sure I'm getting the most for my money.
So there's a story for you.
Oh, that's a pretty good one. What's this documentary over here? Oh yeah. Documentary.
I told you.
Oh wow.
Yep. Well, I guess nothing else.
Man. Bullies could just like try to kill you at will, run you over in their cars. Nobody cared.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess there's not much going on here. And it looks like you guys have run out of stories. Desmond says, looking around the empty bar. So you know what I need you guys to do? I need you to go get me some good stories.
Oh no.
See. Okay.
Yeah. You know where to get the good stories from?
The capital?
No. Don't be ridiculous. There's no good stories in the capital.
Alright. Wasn't I gonna be ready in a month?
Well, see, there's this monk. Lives out in the wilderness. It's got a collection of what wisdom that he keeps in a book. His name is Aesop. And he's got the greatest stories around. Stories that'll transcend generations. Easily relatable. Small words. Cute animal creatures. Good life lessons. We need a collection of those books for the bar. So that way, when people come in and they're like, oh, you know, I had a bird over here, but then there were two birds over there, and so I let my bird go chase those, you know, we can be like, hold on, buddy. You need to be a little bit wiser about this. Maybe a bird in the hand is worth two birds not in the hand, but we need like a more pithy way of saying this. So I need you to go find me Aesop the monk, Yosip the monk, maybe it's Yosip, I don't know. The monk. And get his collection of stories.
I feel like we could just get that in the library in the boring
yeah.
section.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he's the only one that's ever had this book. Maybe after we get it, they can make a copy for the library, but not yet.
I don't know, but I just feel like there's a lot of stories out there. Like, I mean, here we are, great warriors. But can you imagine if we were hired to go off on a mission and then it turned out there was something out there, not of this world, that hunted us? Some sort of
Demon?
animal,
Some sort
that
of
hunts other animals
predator?
for foodish thing. Yeah.
Some sort of
I mean, that
demon
would
predator?
be a great story. Like I said, the
Alien.
1480s were amazing.
Totally. Yeah,
But you
yeah.
can't do it nowadays, it'll be rubbish.
I mean, or, you know, you could give us 48 hours to go bring down some kind of prison escapee bad guys or something.
I suppose, but I really want this book of fairy tales. What would you call
I mean,
them?
you're a warrior. You'd rather have fairy tales over some sort of really lethal weapon?
He's retired.
Yeah. I want some sort of, I don't know, fabulous stories, you know? Some sort of fabled legends that have been passed from down through the ages by this wise old monk.
You
Philosophy.
wouldn't really rather hear about the amazing Snake Man and how he escaped from New Withron Reventa?
Ah, that one. Ooh.
No. No, that's okay. To be honest, I think I've heard the story of the Snake Man escaping from New Withron Renta, and I prefer something with more surfing in it, you know?
I don't know. I think that could come back to bite you in the ass.
Well,
I think it seems like you would want that.
I think I
Then-
would want the surfing. Like, maybe is there like a story about people surfing through canals of Arcadia?
Is there a tool?
Does a Snake Man ever surf?
Is this how you do therapy? You just coerce your the wanting things.
Rob the
I
therapist.
don't know. I
Have
mean,
you ever
I-
considered wanting a positive relationship in your life? Have you considered being nice to your significant other and appreciating them?
I don't know. I find that all the most passionate relationships in the 80s came when someone drew first blood.
I don't think there were any passionate relationships that started from first blood.
Well, that's how they all worked in the 80s. Like two people couldn't stand each other, and then they get up each other's face, and they're yelling at each other, and then suddenly they just both start kissing passionately.
That's true. But look, we can argue about what sort of stories we want. But at the end of the day, if you don't get out there to actually get them stories, we're just gonna sit and argue about what stories we want all day.
Well, maybe something will come in.
I just feel like the 1480s has so much more to offer than a book of, like, a fox that sees some grapes and then, you know, he can't reach him, so he says, "Oh, I bet those grapes suck."
Yeah. Well,
end of story. I mean, I guess there's a character arc that he goes from wanting the grapes to not wanting the grapes, which, you know, I guess to be honest, is a lot more character arc than most of those stories in the 80s had.
Yeah, definitely. You know, he wants the grapes and then he doesn't want them, and there's depth there because, you know, it's a reaction against what he can't reach. It's development. It's you know, change. There's depth there. He's lying not just to you and me, but to himself about his desires for the grapes. It's a, you know, philosophy on the temptations of life and why you shouldn't just suppress things about yourself, and how it's better to reach for what you want than to just, you know, be negative about everything all the time because you're unhappy with the situation you're in. You know, one shouldn't just be pissy and upset about everything and hating blatantly because you can't get what you want. That's no way to live your life.
But doesn't his fable say you have to be like that in Man and the Serpent? Like, it's like...
Well, when he escapes from Wicthon Renta?
No, the fable.
Look, I don't even know these fables. I haven't read them yet. I need you to bring them to me.
Good.
They're fantastic.
Maybe we're looking at this all wrong. Maybe a good story doesn't have to have explosions and action. Maybe a good story from the 1480s could just be about some people like us. Like, I'll gesture towards the Minotaur like a jock. I'll gesture towards Buck, a nerd. And I'll gesture towards myself, a rebel. And we could just be like stuck here in this bar, like we're not allowed to leave on a Saturday. And at first we could all look down on each other, and Desmond, you could come in to make sure we're not doing anything every now and then, but not really, because...
Well, look, I think there's a problem with doing that. I think it lacks tension, you know? There's no tension here.
True.
Look, go get me... Here, He pulls out a map. Look, I need this book. This fabulous selection of fabled stories. All right, there's an island south of Rencor. You gotta go there. You gotta look for the monk, and you gotta bring me back his book of fabulous fabled stories.
There's a thought, see this map, because I don't know if you can see the map.
Why couldn't he see the map?
Yeah, well...
Is he blind?
Are you blind?
No, just someone might not be in Roll20.
Wow.
Just trying to stay in character.
I don't know that I'm that hungry, but I could use one roll. Desmond, just from the road.
All right. Not 20?
No.
You sure? Because we got a lot of rolls to give
I'm trying to
out.
watch my carbs.
I'll have a coffee, though. Cold coffee.
Get your book.
Good.
Well, you gotta have your cold coffee.
Get your book for you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how you're going to get to this damn island. You should probably take a boat there unless you can swim a mile. Hey, anyone can swim a mile. That's easy shit.
Yeah,
Just hop in
that's
the
easy.
water and swim a mile. It'll be fine.
I can make a canoe. It'll be easy.
Perfect.
We can make canoes.
Get pulled into the current.
You could get pulled into the current and die. Yeah, that's the thing. It could happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on that island, there's a monk. A wise monk. Aesop's his name. Fables are his game. Bring me his stuff.
I had to go to Rancor, but aren't you a wanted person in Rancor, Buck?
As I said, no.
Then you'll have to swim.
We've got it. I'm not wanted anywhere, Desmond.
Mm-hmm. So you weren't involved with an elephant that went missing in the circus?
I walk away from the table. Outside the door.
All right. Desmond gives you some rolls for the road and sets you on your way to retrieve this fabled book from Aesop the monk. And off the party goes, all packed up and ready to go.
I'm getting paid for this, Desmond.
Yes, that part was entirely glossed over. Why we're doing this.
Yeah, like, I don't even think this book's worth it.
Look, you didn't have any good stories for me, so you need to go bring me a good story.
Yeah, how about we just leave for a week and then we come back in and you'll forget that you even asked us.
Desmond, it's important to realize the difference between a need and a want. You might want this story, but we need cash.
No, you don't. When's the last time you used any of the money you had?
Last week when I had to
will
buy
use it when I have enough for plate mail.
That's never gonna happen. There's never gonna be plate mail that fits you.
Taking jobs where I don't get paid, it won't.
All right.
And I lost money in my last job.
I'll pay you. I promise.
And I didn't even solve the case.
Well, that's why you lost money. You failed.
Yeah, I did fail.
You're a failure.
I didn't get money. Yes, I'm a failure.
Desmond looks like, oh, I feel bad now. All right, look, just you get the book. I'll give you an appropriate reward depending on the difficulty of your adventure.
All right.
Cool.
Depending on the story of the adventure.
Yeah. The better adventure you have, the more money you'll make.
All right.
Cool. And off you go.
I'll grab some supplies.
All right. As soon as we get outside, I can't possibly imagine that there's going to be any reward for following this map that Desmond gave us. It says it's from One-Eyed Willie. But if we want to get a story, there's a different monk who tells much better stories.
Yeah?
His name is Hughes. I think if we were to just forget this Aesop guy and go to Hughes' home, I hear he lives by himself.
He's alone.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
He lives by himself. There's no one else there.
Yes. It'll be...
You get what I'm saying?
But you can't break up the loonies.
Where is he?
He lives in a house. He lives in this home that all the other people have left his home.
Yes.
All right, let's go to his house.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah.
That sounds better than this Aesop. I've never liked Aesop.
I hear he's got all kinds of stories. Houses in his neighborhood are loaded, but that's the one I've been thinking about when I think about stealing stories.
Yeah. I can't quote movies, but I remember them. Which way is it?
As we go off the rails.
So,
Where are you guys going? Go ahead and take the party wherever you want.
Is it Phil? What town is he in? The suburbs of what town?
I don't know. I feel like there was a town all the stories took place in.
But where should we go? North or just we head that way and we don't know which way it is?
I feel like, I guess I don't know exactly where his house is, but I feel like it's in the heartland of Essos.
Well, we're in Acadia, not Essos, but okay.
No, or whatever country we're in.
Drakis. We're in Drakis.
Drakis, that's right.
We're probably 1511 unless there's a time warp.
All right, so given that what we know that he lives in the heart of Drakis, We just have to look at the exact center of Drekis.
Wick's in the center, but it's a capital. That's not really where these stories take place.
That's true. These are small town stories, not. Well, I mean, except for the second one, but I mean.
Oh yeah, but we're talking about where he lives now, not where he's going to live next year.
I think technically speaking, this is the center of Drekis, like right here. If it's 215 wide, then it'd be 107 to the middle, and then it's about what is this? 240, so 220 down, so 220, and then over here-ish. This is the center of Drekis, technically.
Berkshire.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a much shorter walk.
Oh,
Let's go there.
so there's a town there or village.
Actually, it's right about here. Somewhere near this swamp is the center of Drekis.
That's the swamp that Desmond just talked about.
So you've never been to this place?
Yes, I think I've heard of that. There's a town there that's almost entirely inhabited by moody teenagers with only a few adults to provide supporting services, be principals and such.
We'll head to this place and take his book of fables and bring them back to Desmond. Much better than Aesop's.
But you've never been here?
Well, he doesn't call them fables. That's that Aesop thing. I think he writes them in a written form
Called
using
screenplays?
script. Yes, he just calls them scripts, actually.
Yeah, but there's going to be something tangible we can take, yes?
Oh, yeah, so he does write them down.
All right. Good. Because otherwise we'd have to take the man, and that's a bit...
Yeah, I'm just saying he calls them scripts because they're written in the handwritten script.
All right, let's head south.
All right. You guys ignore the quest that Desmond appoints you to, and you head south. Surely,
Like he was even going to pay us.
surely nothing bad will come of this. All right, you're walking through the sweltering forest.
It's not going to be able to be... Nothing's going to go wrong. He's home alone. He can't stop us.
It's hot out. There's this light rain coming down on you. Everything is humid, sweltering. The bugs are in your ears. There's mud on the ground. It's gross. It's nasty. I need everyone to make me a perception check.
Oh, dear.
God.
14, 16. Anyone else want to fail a perception check?
Wait, how could I have gotten that?
You don't have a plus something on the end of it.
No, it was supposed to be plus 14.
14 plus 14 is 28.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, you can be a... Still a pass. Okay, cool. So, you're walking through the jungles, through the woods.
Jungle?
Woods, jungle. What's the difference between a forest and a jungle, right? It's
Humidity.
humidity and
creatures,
rainfall.
The rainfall, the flora.
Yeah.
Pretty
Forests are
much
basically
everything.
jungles. They're basically the same thing.
The sizes of branches.
Yeah.
The likelihood that some figure is stalking us on these branches.
Yeah. And look, you got a swamp and
Prevalence of
everything.
diseases.
This is possibly a jungle. It's great. It's the same thing. All right, you're walking through this, heading southward. Who's on point? Who's leading you through the jungle?
I feel like the Minotaur should be in
Yeah,
the lead.
sure. Yeah.
Biggest.
The Minotaur's in the lead? Okay, Minotaur. Do you have direction sense, navigation, tracking, anything that could possibly be used?
I have a
to
compass.
Cool, so you know where south is.
Yeah, so
compasses
I said
are
heading south,
expensive.
to get down. Yeah, I spent it. I paid
right.
for it.
All right. So you're just headed south, southwest. What is your direction?
Okay, we've got a map, and from Berkshire, I was given direction of southwest.
Okay. So you're going south, southwest.
No, sorry, east, southeast. Sorry.
South, southeast. Okay, coolio.
Yeah.
You're trekking through the woods, the birds and insects all around you, when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you step into a trap. I need you to make me a dex check, but only add half your dexterity because you are wildly surprised by this trap.
All right. I'm just
Mr.
going to
Man
press
in
it,
front.
but it's -6.
Right. Well, that doesn't go very well at all. The net
9.
at your feet that you didn't see disguised in the ground all of a sudden springs up around you. The branch above you pulls up and you go flying into the air. And just as you do so, a spear comes out of a branch above you. You guys don't even see where it comes from and hurls in the direction at who's second in line.
Buck.
Buck. The spear flies at Buck with... well, base rolls a 12, so it hits you, I'm sure.
It does.
All right. It's going
I'm
to
good
do
at that.
spear damage 1 plus 1 plus damage bonus of 1 for 3 points of damage, Buck. The spear barely hits you. It just like gently grazes the side of your face, leaving a long streaking scar across
Right.
it as it lands in
gone
the ground
from-
behind you.
I've gone from 4 to 1 HP.
No, and
And this is where we're going to take our break. When we come back, the party has been ambushed by some sort of predator in the jungle. We'll see you on the other side.